Racism has been impacting the WNBA well before this year. Caitlin didn't bring racism to the WNBA. We've been trying to tell you. I would have loved to have been valued as a basketball player, to have been spoken about just for my play. I think everybody in the league can say that.
Rising rookie Caitlin Clark has taken the WNBA by storm, but with her meteoric rise comes controversy, accusations, and a wave of division sweeping through the league. And now, a shocking revelation from WNBA legend Sue Bird has everyone asking, is there more to this story than meets the eye? Is there a hidden agenda threatening the WNBA's future? Sue Bird's shocking revelation has sparked a firestorm, and it's time to uncover the truth. Watch till the end to find out more. Sue Bird speaks out against racism in the WNBA. In early October, WNBA legend Sue Bird brought attention to the issue of racism in women's basketball during an episode of her podcast, A Touch More. Joined by her fiancé and former U.S. women's national soccer team star, Megan Rapinoe, the four-time WNBA champion addressed the ongoing challenges faced by black players in the league. Bird also defended Caitlin Clark, a rising WNBA star who had inadvertently become a focal point in discussions about race within the sport. Racism has been impacting the WNBA well before this year, the four-time WNBA champion tells Rapinoe at the 30-30 mark. This is not a new thing. In that way, I think Caitlin is being used as a pawn. Caitlin didn't bring racism to the WNBA. This has been happening. And that, I think, has been a shock for all of us. That other people are surprised by this. We've been trying to tell you. Bird expressed frustration that discussions about Clark's interactions with black players, rather than the quality of basketball, had dominated headlines. The root of the issue. The conversation about racism surrounding Clark's presence in the league traces back to her college days and has gained momentum in women's basketball in 2023 during the NCAA tournament, where Clark and Reese's on-court rivalry made headlines. The competition was accompanied by racially charged remarks from some fans, primarily targeting Reese, a black athlete. Unfortunately, this toxic behavior spilled over into the professional league after Clark and Reese transitioned to the WNBA, where their rivalry continued to draw attention. The issue resurfaced during a late-season game when Connecticut Sun guard Dejounte Carrington inadvertently poked Clark in the eye. Later in the game, Clark elbowed Carrington in a response, adding fuel to discussions of perceived animosity between black players and Clark. While physical altercations are not uncommon in competitive sports, this incident reignited online vitriol. Racist comments from fans disproportionately targeted black players like Carrington, and the situation brought the league's broader racial dynamics into focus. Despite the competitive nature of the league, Bird asserted that no player has deliberately targeted Clark. She expressed frustration that the spotlight often falls on Clark's interactions with black players rather than the athlete's performance on the court, emphasizing that no players have targeted Clark out of malice or jealousy, and rejecting the narrative that black players are unfairly singling her out. She lamented how the league's broader racial issues are overshadowing discussions about basketball itself. There has never been a point where someone has played dirty or targeted Caitlin out of jealousy or pettiness, Bird clarified during the podcast. Media's role and player pushback. Tensions escalated further after USA Today journalist Christine Brennan questioned Carrington about the incident. During a post-game interview, Brennan asked if Carrington had intentionally swatted at Clark and if she and Marina Mabrey had laughed about the incident. Carrington dismissed the notion, saying, "I don't even know why I would intend to hit anybody in the eye. That doesn't even make sense to me. I didn't know I hit her, actually. I was trying to make a play on the ball, and I guess I followed through and I hit her, so obviously it's never intentional. That's not even the type of player I am." And about if she and Marina Mabrey were laughing later in the same game about what she did to Clark, Carrington responded, "I can't laugh about something I didn't know happened." The WNBA Players Association executive quickly came to Carrington's defense, with the executive director, Terry Jackson, sharply criticizing Brennan's line of questioning, accusing her of fueling a harmful narrative rooted in racism, homophobia, and misogyny. Jackson released a statement calling Brennan's actions a blatant attempt to bait a professional athlete into participating in a narrative that is false and designed to fuel racist, homophobic, and misogynistic vitriol on social media. She further argued that Brennan had abused her journalistic credentials. USA Today stood by Brennan, asserting that her questions were intended to gain perspective and not any of the misconstrued conceptions. Meanwhile, the playoffs also brought additional attention to the racism black players face in the WNBA, with the controversy reaching a boiling point during the WNBA playoffs in early October. After the Connecticut Sun eliminated Clark and the Indiana Fever, Sun forward Alyssa Thomas and head coach Stephanie White called out the racist messages their team received from fans. "It's been a lot of nonsense," Thomas remarked in a press conference after the series. "I think that in my 11-year career, I never experienced the racial comments like from the Indiana Fever fan base." Her words were in line with those of Angel Reese, who also spoke out the previous week against the hate directed at players. Angel Reese, whose rivalry with Clark first started the issue, drew a firm line against such behavior, stating that anything beyond criticism about playing the game we love is wrong. Caitlin Clark, for her part, also denounced the vitriol directed at her fellow players. Speaking at a press conference, she stated, "It's definitely upsetting. Nobody in our league should be facing any sort of racism, hurtful, disrespectful, hateful comments and threats. Those aren't fans. Those are trolls. And it's a real disservice to the people in our league, the organization, and the WNBA." Other WNBA players who have spoken out about racism in the league. The growing visibility of the WNBA has brought new attention to its players and the league, but alongside the increased spotlight has come a surge in harassment and toxicity. Many players say the racial and personal attacks they have endured have taken a significant mental toll. The league's ability to balance the influx of attention, which followed college stars Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese into the professional ranks, with the well-being of its athletes is now being questioned. For some players, the harassment has pushed them to take drastic measures. While social media is an important tool for engaging with fans and generating income, several players have opted to deactivate their accounts or limit their online presence to protect their mental health. Phoenix Mercury center Brittany Griner has spoken out about the racist taunts directed at her and other players. Angel Reese revealed that AI-generated nude images of her have been circulating online. Debunking Carrington of the Connecticut Sun shared an especially chilling experience, posting on Instagram about a violent and racist email she received after an accidental poke to Caitlin Clark's eye during a playoff game. Carrington's partner, Nalissa Smith of the Indiana Fever, added that Carrington has even been followed by strangers. For Connecticut Sun forward Alyssa Thomas, the playoff series against Clark's Fever marked a new low in her 11-year career. "With more exposure, we're seeing more of those people come out and say their words online," said Chicago Sky forward Brianna Turner. "They talk their talk, but I highly doubt they're watching any games or any content. They're just there to spread hate and be messy online when they couldn't care less about what happens in the WNBA or about any players either." These troubling incidents stand in stark contrast to the environment the WNBA has cultivated over its nearly 3 decades of existence. Since its inception in 1996, the league has prided itself on being a haven for inclusivity, with the majority of its players being Black and many. Identifying as members of the LGBTQ+ community, the WNBA has long been seen as a progressive and welcoming space. However, some players feel that the league's culture has been tarnished by a new wave of fans who treat the WNBA and its athletes as ammunition in broader cultural battles. "I appreciate the new eyes," said Chicago Sky forward Isabel Harrison, "but if this comes with hate and bigotry and racism and even people who look like me bashing me, keep it offline because it's so hurtful, and you don't know how that affects people." The rise of Caitlin Clark, who is white, and Angel Reese, who is Black, has added to the challenges the WNBA faces. Both players brought unprecedented levels of attention to the league following their collegiate success, but their presence has also attracted divisive conversations. Clark, who won Rookie of the Year honors and led the Fever to the playoffs, became a lightning rod for debates about race and favoritism. Meanwhile, Reese set WNBA records for consecutive double-doubles and rebounds in a season before a wrist injury ended her rookie campaign in early September. Indiana Fever forward Aaliyah Boston noted the opportunistic nature of some fans. "It's easy to attach yourself to the Fever because we have a lot of attention around us right now, and it's so easy to say, well, I'm a Fever fan, I'm an AB fan, I'm a Caitlin fan, and just spew hate off of that, and that's never okay," Boston explained. Tensions flared early in the season as some commentators suggested that veteran WNBA players were jealous of Clark's stardom. Fouls against Clark quickly became a hot-button issue, often escalating into personal insults or worse. A particularly hard foul by Chicago Sky guard Chennedy Carter led to a Chicago Tribune op-ed comparing the play to assault. An Indiana congressman even wrote an open letter to the WNBA commissioner, voicing his displeasure. The commentary extended to prominent figures in sports media, with Charles Barkley accusing WNBA players of being petty and jealous of Clark's popularity. Sheryl Swoopes appeared to minimize Clark's achievements in her own remarks, while ESPN's Pat McAfee faced backlash after using a slur to describe Clark during his show. McAfee later apologized for his comments. Amid the noise, the players and their achievements have often been overshadowed. Ajani Keaton, an assistant professor of sports management at UMass Amherst, lamented this reality. It is discouraging that we're losing the conversation around the skill of these players, and it's being overshadowed by the politicized nature of their presence. As the WNBA continues to grow, its players are asking for a renewed focus on their skills and contributions to the game. The rise in harassment has pinpointed the challenges of navigating fame in a polarized society, but it has also shown the resolve of these athletes as they advocate for themselves and their league. While the WNBA faces its share of challenges, the players remain committed to fostering a culture of inclusivity and respect.